Welcome to the Fantasy Pavilion, your home for fantasy sports.
Welcome, guys. Welcome back to the Fantasy Pavilion, your home for fantasy sport. And of course, we are here to discuss Vienna, the GP in Austria. But before we do that, we have to discuss with my friends here, Ismail and Mike. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, evening, brother. Evening, guys.
Before we do anything, we have to talk about how orgasmic, how awesome-tastic, how phantasmal, how epically epical that Silverstone GP was. My goodness, Michael and Ismail have been watching this, we know what I mean. But that was the greatest race. And I have to say greatest, one of the top 10, inching up there, maybe top 10 to 15 sporting spectacles I have ever seen in my 32 years of existence on this blue marble. Ismail, what are your thoughts on that last race, bro?
I think the picture you get from between the last 3 or 4 laps, where you had the 5 cars from the 5 different constructors line up right one behind each other, all within less than a second to each other, and anybody could have taken second and third at that point. I think that sums it up, I think this race showcased how well the changes and the regulations the FIA brought into this season and moving forward, how well that worked, because you had I can't remember the exact order because different ones would have had slightly different orders, right? Because they were racing very close to each other. But basically in the fight you had Charles, Perez, Lewis, Alonso, and I think it was Norris, right? One behind each other. 5 different constructors. 5 of them, possibly any one of them could have taken second or third and make a podium. And, that was just really good to see because previous years you would have seen people trying to come up behind each other, and after half a lap, 2 laps, 3 laps, you're going to hear, dirty air, need to stay off, need to back off, all of these different things, And then we had a couple passes. They exchanged positions a couple times within that few laps, carried it down to the wire. You had Max and Mick fighting straight down to the line, So just looking at the end of the race alone, like the last few laps, that alone was so great. And then you had all the drama before the last few laps from the middle of the race go forward. And then you had, even the start had the incident that, that was a whole discussion by itself.
Yes. We were touching on that, of course.
Yeah. So, overall, this was probably one of the best races I've seen. And, I think you're probably watching F1 a little bit more than me, but it is good to see that this type of racing is possible. Of course, glad to see everyone surviving and not having any major injuries or anything from the we must always say thanks for that whenever anything like that happens. And the safety from the Halo is really nice to see that, because there's another safety implementation on the car to prevent things from happening to drivers when the car flip over, right? And I think that's right behind the Halo on top. They have like a rule structure or something. And I'm not like very, very familiar with all of the parts of the car as much as I try to be and look at the engineering, because F1 cars are a beautiful piece of engineering, right? And it's so sensitive. But yeah, so there's a rule structure. When the car flips over, there's a line between the front of the car and the top of the rule structure that prevents, the car any force going onto the driver itself, because that line, the driver is supposed to be below that line. So once they're below that line, and that line, you know, no matter what angle the car spins at, once that rule structure is in place, the car wouldn't be able to put any force on the driver itself. Unfortunately for Guanyu, that structure was not there in his crash. Like when he flipped that entire piece, I'm not sure if like it broke or the entire thing just crumbled or whatever, but the halo really was the one that did the job this time. So I hope to see some changes from the FIA moving forward on that rule structure and put some implementations in place where that can't happen again, because I think there was a lot of force definitely involved in that crash, but at the same time, if you have a safety implementation of something, it should be able to take a lot of force, right?
Correct.
So hope to see some changes on that and some improvements on that, because at the end of the day, these drivers do what they do, for our entertainment.
Entertainment.
Because a lot of them are probably adrenaline junkies. I would probably want to do that myself, but at the end of the day, we don't want to see anyone get injured or killed, from these
For the
things. So
sake of
safety,
for the sake of money. Correct, that's right. Yes.
safety
Mikey,
is the end all of it. Yeah.
for real.
So
Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Ismail. Mikey, Mike, you were there with me. We were hopping around. We were jumping around. We have our video that has picked up some nice likes and stuff on YouTube there where we were, we couldn't see in it. Right? I was there sitting, Michael. You walked over the screen. You anticipated something. I don't know how you did it, but you anticipated. You were on the screen. And I was just there like, all right. And I see Lewis just creeping in a space while the two guys battling, and I was like, oh, I just went crazy. Mike, that was amazing.
Yeah, when it
how can you sum up the race, bro?
Because
Some of the race was.
Yeah, I saw it when it says, because remember, it was just after the restart, after the safety car. And based on where Charles and Sainz was, I knew, because what it is, Ferrari had asked was that Sainz keep like 10 car distances behind Charles, so as to give him some kind of comfort, some kind of barrier to the guys behind. And when I heard Sainz say, nah, I'm not doing that.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that.
When I heard that, I knew it was going to be drama, because we knew Sainz was on the softs, Lewis was on the softs, Perez was on the softs, and we know Leclerc was on those whole hards, and we knew it was not going to stand up to those guys. So as soon as I heard Sainz say, nah, I'm not doing that, I knew it was going to be fight. And so I positioned myself to be up front for the action. But yeah, it was an amazing race on Sunday. I think one of the best for the season so far, if not the best for the season thus far, simply because of our last lap battle. I am proud of the FIA for the measures they have made and the good they've done over the years as it relates to safety, because a crash like what happened on Sunday pre-Halo, we would not have had the driver walking out of that crash line. And that's a crazy and amazing. It's a crazy thing to think about, because when it is they first introduced the Halo, everyone was like, it's so ugly, how the driver's gonna see around it, and this and that and this and that. In the very first year the Halo was implemented, it showed you why it is we needed the Halo.
Yeah.
And if somebody still had doubts as to why we need the Halo, they had last year when it says Max ended up on top of Lewis to prove why it is we need the Halo. And if you still had doubts, you get a third one, which is Guanyu on Sunday. Because just as Ishmael said, there is a rollover structure that would have saved some drivers in the past, but that failed because it wasn't tested to be dragged on the ground and through the gravel at immense pace. So these things are tested for different situations, all very possible, all very crazy, but the impossible can happen at times, which is what happened on Sunday. And it's only true events like this, as sad as horrific as they are, they can learn and make changes and improve safety. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna say, well, no, that structure needs to be stronger. It needs to be shaped differently so as to be able to. So it's things like this, as scary as they are, they make the sport better. And just aside from the driver safety aspect of it, Guanijo was able to work out. But I want everybody to think about Field 2016. Some people may or may not remember, but there was an accident at the track whereby a car came off the track and ended up in the stands. And a woman almost lost her life simply because there were not the correct safety barriers and such around the racetrack. What happened on Sunday could have easily turned into some crazy tragedy if that car ended up in the stands.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that car was weighing 800 pounds, full of fuel, because it really happened at the start, so the cars were full to the brim of fuel. They weigh so much already, and it would have landed on people, not just one person, because it had people in that stand, and that fence stood up. Yeah, and it was crazy. And as I told you on Sunday, after I saw that, I thought back to Wallafield, just to show you exactly how important it is to have these safety barriers and thing, and why it's so important. And it just goes to show why all racetracks, locally, regionally, internationally, need to ensure that they have the correct infrastructure, not only to allow the cars to race safely, but also to protect the audience. So that's all I'm going to say on safety, because it's a lot. But all in all, it was an amazing race. The FIA's regulations are working, because just as Israel said, we had 5 different constructors battling out on the last few laps, separated by a second. It was amazing. I loved every second of it. And yeah, I just want more of that for the entire season. And that just shows you why it is sometimes conventional racetracks are better for racing as opposed to street circuits.
And that, I vex you say that so early. I really upset with you because I was going to bring it up. But before we go there, Guanijo, if anybody's seeing this, Guanijo, all of us here from Trinidad F1 fans here, we're just glad that you're alive. Albon as well too. Albon had to go in the hospital. A lot of
he did.
Albon actually had to go in the hospital. And Guanijo was walking about, right? And his car was worse off. So it just goes to show sometimes, that shock. Sometimes when they hit something, they could get that,
yes,
so that could happen,
It's not just the shock of the hit and thing too, right? Remember, when it is we do like a sports, and you do a Scotsman strat event, and you get spin around that stick 10 times, and you had a run after, you have a headache, some people just want to vomit. These men hit a wall and spin around at 200 and something key. When it is your check back, all kind of 15, 20 G's of impact. And it's like, you can't expect them to just get up and walk away all the time.
Exactly.
I mean, as superhuman as they are physique-wise and maybe talent-wise and skill-wise, they are the end of the human beings. So they can endure a lot, but sometimes they can't endure it all.
For real. All right, so let's get straight into our track analysis. And before we do that, Michael brought up a really good point there, and it's something I want to talk about before we review the show, before we start the show, the actual show, right? These circuits, now I said it before, Michael, as a noob, I said from an amateur perspective, where I was guessing that these next 5 races that are on proper circuits, not racing track, but built circuits that are meant for racing, would be epic, and you will see true driving grit. You will see the talent. I mean, a simple thing as Ricardo. I literally saw the camera smell. Ricardo's car, where he dodged and weaved. Now, of course, it had a bit of luck in it, but you could see his experience kick in there, right? Where he had to dodge and maneuver the incident that was going on around him, because it was mayhem. It wasn't just one car. It was a domino effect of an incident. It was a crazy crash, right? There was like a multi-car pileup, which, I mean, it wasn't, but you know what I mean? There was so much things happening from that one touch. and he had to maneuver and weave and stuff, and you saw other guys as well had to do it, and it just show you the skill of these drivers. And then of course coming out to the end, some of the maneuvering and the overtaking and stuff, even some of the middle drivers, right? Some of the mid-tier drivers. Our boy Latifi had a great Q qualifying rounds coming into the meet Q3. You got to see some of these, these drivers, what they could really do on proper circuits. So Ismail, the question is it a case that we have to do away with these street circuits or not have so much on the calendar, maybe one or two, and try and push more for these proper circuits, or that don't matter, the driver is supposed to be able to drive anyway?
Okay, so I mean, we're going back to safety is the number one thing, right? So these street circuits sometimes they have certain corners and stuff that the cars weren't meant to go through there, at certain speeds, and these drivers push it faster and faster. Going back to the one where I think it was Perez had a crash in qualifying, right? Cars weren't meant to go through that corner so fast, but they keep pushing because qualifying, they want to get the fastest lap, right? And yes, the conventional tracks are better and safer, I would say, definitely, right? But it doesn't mean that we have to do away with the street circuits. We just have to make sure that the street circuits we race on are properly vetted for all safety considerations. So, and have some places where you can get some very wide streets, and then you come now and you paint your lines and you have your things so that, you make sure you don't end up inside a building,
Mm-hmm.
So once we have these street circuits that are properly analyzed and designed, that, you don't get these tight spaces that you have to maneuver. I mean, we love to see F1 cars maneuver, but the pinnacle in F1 engineering is how fast they could go, not how slow they could go, right? So we want to get tracks that are a little bit better, that you could maneuver a little bit better. So I wouldn't say do away with it. I say definitely the number we could vary, right? Because I mean, it's not that we need to only have one or two, or we need to have plenty or whatever. We could have, depending on how good it is, but just make sure anyone that's up there as an option, you have proper corners. Because I mean, we love Monaco, but some of these corners we really need to do away with and get other corners,
Solid. All right, so Michael, I need your analysis. I need your touch here. Let's talk about this now. Of course, big up Antonio the time. Thanks for coming through, Antonio. We had to talk about your boy. Hard luck for your boy. Well, we'll talk about that when we come out. I have some mad plans for the fantasy this weekend, guys. We have things to talk about. Michael, take it away now. Analyze the track first, break it down first. I didn't do much homework, but I did some key homework, and I'll talk about it when you finish.
Cool. So Red Bull Ring. I hate the name of it, but it's a good track for the last.
I wonder why.
No, but it's a pretty cool track. As you can see, it's made up of a lot of streets. So it is a very fast track. There's gonna be a quick lap, especially in these newer cars. You're gonna see a lot more following, a lot more battles into the corners, I think. Simply because of the amount of streets it has, and because of these streets, these cars are following closer, so they're going into corners a lot closer. So you're gonna have a lot more battles.
Right.
So after you hit the touch finish straight, that corner is a right hander, but it's with a right hander with a bit of an incline. So I'm driving home from work, so I'm kind of exhausted. Right, so you get this one. And then it is a very quick run down into turn 2. Turn 2 is tight, but you see people sending it up the inside. I think Lando was battling with Lewis here and sensed up the inside and got a pass on him. Then turn 3 is a sweeping left. I call it correct? Turn 5, sorry, yeah. So, yeah. Turn 1, sorry, is that tight right. And then 2 is not really a corner. They shouldn't really call turn 2 a corner. Turn 3 is tight and nice. As I said, you'll get somebody sending up the inside there. Straight down into 4. Then 5 is a fast right hander. So people usually go on the outside. 6 and 7 and 8 is a nice little section. So once you get into 6 properly, 7 and 8 will be very. Then a small straight into 9, 10, and then back onto the start. So it's not a very complex track, in my opinion, a 4-year draw it, or some Red Bull engineer. Um, but it is a very nice track. It's one of the easier ones, I think, to drive simply because of how simple it is, quote unquote. It doesn't have too many complex sections and a ton of tunes. It's only 10 compared to some tracks that have kind of 20 and 21 tunes. So it's a nice break for some of the drivers. And it really is going to be a testament to speed and who could carry the most speed through the corners and who really know how to manage that. Tire management is also important around.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. Go ahead.
It's an important thing. If it is we talking strategy, I think what George was going to do on Sunday would have been would be smart, especially depending on where you're starting. If you're starting somewhere around in 10, if you're starting somewhere in the midfield, by all means, start on the hard tires, pull a long stint, and then hope for a safety car or VSC or something. Duck in the pits and put on mediums and you're good to go. How many laps is it?
71.
71. So it's long. I mean, 2 stoppers can work.
2 stopper. Yes, 2 stopper. Yeah.
But can work. But again, I think 3 stopper is the way to go, as I said Sunday gone.
Yeah.
I think with these conventional circuits, it's a lot better to do a 3 stopper. It'll be fast, especially if it is things continue to go how they've been going and you're getting safety cars that allow you to get a cheap stop, so to speak, or a free stop and run with it. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a good one, especially because these cars look so much better. It's really interesting.
No, this track is not a high deck track like last week, but I've known in a bit of research, I've seen that they may be using the hardest type of compound tires for this particular track. So the highest and the soft, the highest and the medium, and highest and the hard at the end, right? Is it because of the quickness of the track and there's no grip? Like, what's the reason behind that one? Because I think this one will have much grip as some of the other tracks.
I think the track surface was done over recently, so you don't have as much grip. Hence why it is they will bring the harder tires. Is still have your tire option.
Nice, solid. Now, of course, guys, as you all know, race weekend starts on the Friday. So, of course, there's an action on Friday. The race itself is a whopping very early, 9 a.m. in the morning. I know some. And of course, guys, as you know, we will be bright and early at Island Bay, bringing you all the action live as best as possible. So make sure and be there, join us on the live. I don't expect much people to come out physically, but we had a couple people come out last week and they enjoyed themselves. So hopefully that is more incentive to come through. All right, so of course, guys, we could get straight into the fantasy aspect of things because I'm about to do something very interesting live. Antonio, how was the fantasy last week for you? How did you do? How did you fare?
It wasn't bad. It was great for me actually. I turbo drive Checo, and Checo ended up 17th, and from 17th to second, overtake points galore. So that was a plus for me. I had Sainz and Leclerc, so I got points from that. The only guys that were disappointed was my boy Bottas,
Right.
and Magnussen, but they still brought in some points from the Saturday. So I wasn't too displeased, but I still got all minus points from Bottas because he DNF. So, but other than that, I'll just be making one change for this because this track is all about pace. So I'm looking to go for the guys that I know gonna milk their cars on the day of. I don't want to say who just yet because I'm not even sure myself. I like to watch the practices just to see what's going on, who's doing what, and how the car's performing. But yeah, the that was probably the best. That was probably the best week for me in a while, to be honest. And points wise for the fantasy, because I had some of these guys on some of my turbo drivers from previous were blank, were like not finishing the race, so
Right.
some kind of thing. So this was a good, like a good step up again, and let's try to pull a lead away from Michael, so he could remember what I did.
Lord Father. I really want to buy that jersey, no, Michael. We make him
No, we ain't he ain't have Costa by that jersey. Don't worry, we will beat him. We still have what? 14 races to go, or no, 12 races to go. So we still have time
Yeah,
to
that's
put him down. He literally just need one bad weekend.
I just need
Yeah.
one bad week and the points kind of going, no?
Exactly. Or better yet, you see when it is we pass the midway point and we enter the second half of the season,
Right.
and you have that next mega driver. All it takes is to get that mega driver on the right weekend. You will shoot ahead any point, and then he takes his mega drive on the wrong weekend, and it's all over.
I already know
No.
which. I already know which race I'm gonna Mega Drive on though.
For the second half of the season.
Yeah, for the second half of the season, and that's coming up to the ends.
I'm glad you mentioned Mega Drive and all that, but something I wanted to talk about quickly, sorry, before we reach
That's
our
the man in here that's saving the Mega Driver.
Right. That's the thing,
Realize
I don't know why Ishmael holding on to his Mega Drive so long.
And I don't know when till you can't wait too late because there's only one for each half of the
Yeah,
season. So if you
it's
say, well,
a few more races. Budapest
I
go
is the
hold it.
next race.
It have a
I
certain
go
individual.
hold it and then I go sing it, then now you could be in trouble.
I know a
Yeah.
certain individual in here that save all his little wildcards for the end, and
Yeah, it's about man here in this group, boy, Ishmael, boy, for FPL, he's holding on to everything, for the whole, to the end of the season, boy. That man, I don't know what he's doing one last thing, boy, to the end of it. I don't know why that man is with that way, Ishmael, boy. But,
But
It has,
it is
it has certain strategies to it. It has certain strategies to it. No, but especially for like FPL and end of the season is a good time to hold it.
Ishmael wants to say something about the track before we move on quickly. That's no problem.
Yeah. So this track is very interesting. We've seen some McLaren success previously on this track. You know, we had Orlando Poole, we had Carlos Sainz setting some very fast times in a McLaren.
Yeah, the fastest time. I think so.
Yeah,
in the last
yeah,
one.
in a
I think
McLaren,
and Max
yeah.
have the fastest overall again. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so the McLaren car does pretty good. So, you know, I mean, it have a certain driver, Danny Ricky mentioned earlier, you know, must bring him up, you know.
I love the propaganda. This man must move. But talk about your way now, boy. Talk about your way.
Yeah, so let me see if he can do something good, you know. It's a very interesting track. Going down into turn one turn one is very nice to watch when you have, you know, drivers racing one behind each other, right? But turn one with two drivers alongside or three drivers alongside each other going to be very, very interesting. It always is, especially at the start. You know, it's always very interesting to watch that. All right. And we also have the Mercedes meme of stay off the curbs. Stay off the curbs. Curb damage for Lewis. Lewis could have done so much better because of the
no,
damage from
and
the curbs.
you know, the curbs is going to be even more important this year because these cars are running so much closer to the ground, and not only that, they try closer to the ground. So they really do need to stay off the curbs because, if I remember correctly, Red Bull Ring has some nasty curbs that will mash up
Nasty,
your
nasty
on the
curbs.
floor. So it really is to stay off the curbs, not just for us, for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. So that's something to watch, and you know these drivers in qualifying going to try to get as much as they can. So you know you never know. You might have Charles Leclerc going onto the curbs because he wants to get the fastest to start first and doing some damage to his car. You might have Max doing the same. You could probably have Perez doing the same. You know, certain driver named Lewis will definitely by now he'd have enough experience to stay up the cubes. But you know, it had couple times where he damaged his car to the cubes and he still went back on the cubes the next year. So let's see how that goes. And this track has some very nice fast corners, very nice slow corners, but there's no like big chicanes and stuff. So it's really
Right.
good to see. You know, it's a really simple track, and
As Michael was
I'm
saying,
not
yeah.
saying I want all tracks to be like this, but I'm saying it is very nice and refreshing to have like a track like this on the calendar. If they fix the curbs, it might be even better. So it's very nice to watch, and you have it's the fact that mid-table cars like
Mhm.
McLaren could do such good things here, right? And I know we're gonna talk about Kima just now and his potential to actually do stuff moving forward, but I think the Haas might be able to do a little something here. And then we had recent upgrades to cars
The
such as the
Williams.
Williams,
Mhm.
right?
But that
So
didn't benefit them.
it didn't benefit them, right? But the fact that Latifi did what he did
Yeah,
in
but
the in
without the
the
upgraded car.
without the upgraded car,
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
would
yeah.
assume that the upgrade adds to that. It'd be really nice to see what they could do with the upgrade if it was just a fluke that happened to Albon,
Yes, yes,
you
yes.
know. And then we have Mercedes with their upgrades as well that they did recently, and they're saying that they're coming closer to the front runners, right? So this track I think will tell us whether they line or not, because this
Yeah.
track has three DRS streets they have. So if we going to see porpoising, this track will tell you that. This track would not hide it. It's very high speed. So I don't think any of the constructors could come now and talk about their car and talk about how they're improving and stuff, because we're gonna see exactly what happens on this track. So I hope I pray no one gets damage on the curbs, because if there's one thing I really like to see, I like to see competitiveness at its strength. I like to see people battling it out at the top. Like in football, for example, I hate to see people being injured, right? Because I always want to see teams battle it out with the strongest possibilities. So hope the cars don't get any damage to them, and let's see which upgrades actually bodes well for the future.
No. Something that we cannot forget, guys. This weekend. What's special about this weekend, Antonio? You remember? You know what? You know what's special about this weekend?
This weekend.
This weekend is a
Weekend is special
sprint.
because I work in this weekend.
Well, I know weekends is very special, but it's a sprint weekend, bro. And you know what that means?
Oh.
You know what that means, bro? Ski. Points in the bag. Extra points to lose and extra points to win. Right?
So this is why I've been saving your Mega Driver.
Now
Maybe,
this is why.
maybe.
This is why now you see Ismail, men like to talk and tell you thing. You see why you must ignore them, Ismail? There's a key and a strategy to everything I do. I do things my way. I don't take nobody, not to rush, you understand?
Yeah, you
The
going
only
to Mega
thing,
Drive, man, like Latifi, and Latifi going to spin up your track and
right? I go down Mega Drive right now in front of their faces, but let's not go. Let's not go there. Let's not get too ahead of
I
ourselves.
want you to go that part. I want to see this.
I
But
go down
but
Mega Drive now. I go down Mega Drive right now in front of you, right? But Ismail, right?
if if you if you see my second screen right now, I am actually going to do the same exact thing right now. I just
Right?
open it up, and I'm going to Mega Drive right now as well.
You can share your screen on a laptop on your phone. If you're on a laptop, you can share your screen if you want to know. I
I'm on
share
laptop,
thing.
so after you do yours, I'll do mine right after.
Right. So let's just discuss the points from last week. So last week I had, and I see one, Max came out, Hammy, Perez, Albon, so of course Albon, and I had Williams. Williams was doing well up until, and then of course, right? Big up Latifi all the time. A turbo driving when his points still said green. That was ballsy of me. But it worked out well. He could have finished P10, even P8, but because of the incident, but that's all right. But big up Latifi. I think that's his best weekend, at least for me. Really, really good weekend. He reached the Q3 and did really well. Ocon, my boy, had about Gasly, Alonso, and Perez were the main scorers, obviously, and of course Red Bull constructor in with Team 2. Team 3, of course, big up Leclerc all the time. Sainz, the winner. Perez, so I had all the big boys right there. Russell, Even though Russell didn't finish, Russell's such an amazing driver, still got a green. Imagine that Russell still finished with a green and Bottas on red. That is mad. That is mad, right? Alfa Romeo, right, minus 13. So I need some surgery here. I need to do some stuff here. So my team 2 is the team that I'm focusing on the most for now, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna Mega Drive. But all my teams are gonna get the Mega Drive for this weekend, obviously. But who a Mega Drive is the question. So manage. Am I getting rid of Latifi? No. I'm keeping the team just as. I'm not changing a thing. Moving on. Mega Drive Perez. I think that's a no-brainer. Have to Mega Drive Perez. I think that's it don't make sense. I don't know who else is the Mega Drive other than him, and I'm gonna turbo drive Alonso for this one. I'm leaving it just off faith in Latifi. Maybe that was just a one-off fluke, a flash in the pan, but I'll keep him as is. Maybe I might change that, but for now, I'll keep him as is. I think he's a good shout, and I'll leave it as is like that. What you think there? I think that's a boss. Perez is the man to Mega Drive.
Yeah. So I was considering Mega Drive Perez myself.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. I know actually taking any Sandins here. I never really taken any Sandins in a while, and it's really interesting. It's really interesting.
I know, even though we're in the fantasy side, right? Do you think now that the Grand Prix is wide open now? Because here my thinking, right? Ishmael and Antonio, while I'm doing this, right? My thinking was, if Max won 2 of the races this month, there's 4 races this month, right? If he won 2 of these races this month, outright 1, 2, the 50 points there, I think I was ready to say, all right, that's it. It's just to lose. But now that we've seen what we've seen, and now Carlos Sainz come and disobeyed orders, which I agree with, right? Disobeyed the orders. Won his race, and now Perez is going to do the same thing next week and win next week. I think this Grand Prix will put wide open on. You never know who could win it now. What do you think, Antonio? I think it's wide open. No, it's not easy to call anymore. I do think Max has already won.
It's like that's it. It's like the last day, last day of EPL when you don't know who's gonna get relegated anymore because every team's points so close. That's like what's going on right now. Everybody's right there, so you don't know who's going to take what. And there's 25 points to talk about if you come first. That's a lot. That jumping you up, that making it the first 3 men just skip past each other each week. Every day keep on filtering out like that. So really and truly, it's just a matter of keeping a consistent driver at this point. To be honest with you, like even though Leclerc had some off, he was still able to pull. Where did he place in this race? 5th.
Yeah.
Still make points, and he's up there. So that it does take 120. It just takes that one race, and it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to pick up on that team. If you could get everybody that you like into this one team, that'd be good. But so it goes. I myself might switch off Kevin Magnussen and go for Schumacher because Schumacher has been driving good recently. I mean, I'm tempted with Latifi as well, but I don't want to go on that trade. That's like jumping on Cookie, and I don't want to do that right now.
Wait, so it's going better, but we're not going there. But came out. No, remember, I had Schumacher for a little while. I had it for a little stint, but I went all right, time to move on. But remember, I keep telling all the guys. I think with this F1, you have to be real patient. You have to watch a guy crash a few times. You have to watch him DNF a few times, and just say, I'm holding on. And that green patch will hit. And I bet you will get through, man. You have to be real patient in this one, I feel. But it is the most difficult.
I would tell the people, look at if you want mid-price drivers that bringing in points consistently, look at Alonso and Vettel. Those guys doing their thing right now.
Yeah. Well, I dropped Vettel for Latifi.
I could probably see Vettel doing good in this track, to be honest.
Correct. I would tell 1,000%. That's a good point.
He could defend, so I want to see.
And he could overtake. He did well. He had a good race. Yeah. Ishmael, if you want to jump in, quick jump in. You know, I just hear tinkering. You could share your screen and let's see what
Yeah,
you have for
yeah,
us.
definitely, definitely.
Share your
Let
screen.
me
Let's see what you have for us.
let me share the screen. No, this goes against everything I see in F1. You don't do these things until the last second to make sure the car okay and stuff, right? You know.
No problem.
But
Before we do
that's
that, let me just bring this up really quickly. Guys, don't forget, Sunday, we're live at Island Bay, 9 a.m. You all please wake up, join the stream on YouTube, join the fun, join the rally. If you want to see the kind of fun we have, look, check our recent video. You're going to see the one with the reaction to Lewis and Charles battling, right? So don't forget, we'll be there live, up and early, ready for you. Bam, let's take it away, Ishmael. Let's see what Mr. Ishmael is up to.
yeah. I just wanted to just wanted to go and check my drivers. So
All right. We see you. We see you.
yeah. All right. So I mean, team two is this team. Like, my God, what you can really do about this team? Like, this is one of the best teams you can really get for the money. I don't really see
You can
much.
do better.
I don't really see you can do better. So like, it'd be really hard to think of this, but it's the way you have to do this.
That's a team to be patient with. I wouldn't touch that team, to be honest. It's just a Hooter turbo drive or whatever. I wouldn't touch that team. For me, personally, that's a solid team, bro.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
only person let you down there was Bottas last weekend.
Well, I actually thinking to take out Bottas right now. So I don't know. I haven't used this in a few weeks, so I just trying to figure out where I go and manage this.
Oh yeah.
Go at the top, jump down arrow, the top. We see Formula One Lenovo at the top. And it just brings
Oh,
it
right.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I usually just look at it sometimes because there's not much tinkering for most of my teams, right? I don't really see much tinkering. Charles and Leclerc, for the price they are, I really just have to have them in one of my teams,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I had Max in this team here, and I had Lewis in this team. After they start Lewis I had to take out Lewis. So I said, well, the money I could have brought in Verstappen in this team, took out Verstappen from this team, and I said, you know what, let's just bring in Perez to this. And Perez has not disappointed. The only one that really disappointed was Magnussen. And, there's not much I can really do with the price of everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a little bit to be back, right? But
Yeah.
the drivers that I could afford right now under that price.
People like to talk about inflation in FPL. The price rises here are ridiculous.
Yeah, so there's not much I can really do here in these prices, and then these drivers did not give me as much confidence. And the only one I could really burn in was Valtteri. I already have him in part of the team, so can't really bring in Valtteri twice, right?
I would bring in Vettel
But
if I was.
I was not going to say that, yeah. So like, I had Vettel early on, and the Aston Martin was not compliant to me, and thankfully I missed that whole double DNF from Aston Martin. But I think this is the weekend. To bring in Vettel, jump off the Kevin. I know I'm really happy for Kevin. Love to see what he's doing, but I think for now I'll have to bring in Vettel here. Right. Let's.
Now, guys, just want to remind you all while Ishmael tinkering there, don't forget. So I think Hungary is the halfway mark of the season, and up until then to use your mega driver. So make sure you do it strategically. Like a certain person on the panel here, waiting. I was patient. I was waiting for a sprint weekend, right? So make sure and use your mega driver. Soon it expires. It does not roll over. It will not turn into a third mega drive. You will only have that one left. So use it wisely. Use it now. I'm not saying use it now, but use it now and make sure I put this on the right driver. Antonio, how was sounding? What good Mega Drive candidates and Turbo Drive candidates for the weekend, guys?
Well, I want to say anyone. Like this weekend, the track is not like a really bad track. We have like a lot of slow corners, a lot of fast corners. It's a nice mix. You don't already have much chicanes. So the top 5 teams, I would say, any one of them could come out, could come and give us a shock and come in first, right? So yeah, Perez definitely. I would definitely do Perez in one of my teams. I think Charles has been putting on consistent stuff where his vehicle or team has failed him. Everything else has been consistent.
Many times, correct.
He have Mr. Consistency himself with upgrades to his car. You could do that. You have the 7-time champion Lewis. That looks like he's on the ascendancy. You have Max, who this is his home race, and besides Red Bull home race, there's a lot
Yeah.
of persons who come across
From Red Bull, correct. Yeah.
from
I don't want to say the wrong names, but yes.
yeah. So Max is going to want to do something special. I think he has the most wins here, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I believe he's on 4 with I think Frost on 3, something like that. So definitely Max. If you have Max, I would say go with Max, right? Um, just disclaimer: if anything happens to Max and he don't give you the points you want, don't come and look for more.
Yeah, don't the views and thoughts of any panel members here are just views and thoughts and opinions. Do not hold us accountable. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and then you have Sainz, who have been driving like he's been proving something.
Yeah.
He had something to prove for the longest while, and
This one.
he kind of did it last week, So what you could really say, not bring Sainz into the equation. Like Sainz has been there, and he's been crashing a lot or going into the gravel a lot because he's been racing hard. And it might not have worked out for him in all the races, but last week it shows that he was rewarded for that. I think he even had some damage to the car or something, and he still managed to go through that. Right, so there's a lot. You can even consider Vettel or Alonso in the equation, I would say. So for this one, I'm going to do something a little bit bold. I'm going to bank everything on Charles. So we're gonna do the Mega Drive on Charles, the Turbo Drive on Charles. We're going to Mega Drive. Gonna have to go with Sainz for this one. We saving Perez for the next one, and my confidence in Bottas right now is a bit low. Unfortunate to say, but that's the truth. So it's either Vettel or Sainz this one, and I'm gonna come back and do Sainz just because he has some crashes sometimes. So I'll just do this one right before the qualifying. But Sainz is definitely where I'm going with this. Right? The names of my team's so mixed up now because this was actually a Max Verstappen team I had here. So that's where the name come from. This was Seb, and I had the cheeky Alex in this one. But that just shows the evolution of how things is sometimes. So this team definitely not gonna change anything about it, right?
No, I think that's solid. I wouldn't touch much. Obviously, just to change the Mega Drive with Turbo Drive, I wouldn't touch that team. That team is solid.
Turbo Drive on Charles. I think Turbo Drive and Charles, you can never really go wrong, right?
No, it's ballsy, but you can't go wrong.
Yeah, because I mean, there's been only 2 races he won or something, but he every race he looks like he's going to be there.
Yeah.
So this one I just gonna.
Just team orders. It's just the team strategy, or lack of strategy.
Yeah.
Right,
this one I just gonna lock in the Perez one time because I have all my feet in Perez.
Yeah.
Right. So you see the Mega Drive there one time.
One
time. Go back. Right, receiving. We're not gonna lie to you. We're doing it one time, right?
One time. one time and leaving it set.
Yeah,
Bam.
that's it. You can't change it now.
Yeah, that's it. And
Yeah.
ready for sprint.
And this last one here, we're gonna do a Mega Drive on Max, but we will just save. We can't go against FPL rules for everything, right? We're gonna save this one, and this one we'll have an fated mood at. But this one we have to come to Paris to do our thing. So we bank in on Red Bull for this one. Come back and Mega Drive that. So the problem I have with my teams is that I have a lot of overlap in my teams.
Yeah, yeah. But
But when it works, right?
Yeah, unavoidable. Yeah.
When it works.
Yeah,
I have Perez, Charles, and Sainz in 3 of my teams.
Yeah.
And 2 Ferrari as constructor. But the thing about that is, why would you go against the second, third, and fourth, I believe? Second, third, and fourth. Why would you go against them, For the price that they are? I don't see any reason to go against them. So, yeah. And we have a little cheeky Daniel Ricciardo win.
Yeah, well, I know you want that. You love your Ricardo. We have our drivers we love, and we can't fault us for that at all.
It is possible that Daniel Ricciardo could go from 14th straight up to something like, let's say 8 or 9 without win.
All right. Doable. I was in the
and
best.
then if he decides to do it a couple more times, we could be in the conversation for here, but that'll never happen. So let's not go there. But really wanna see a comeback from Judge. Really sad that he did not.
Yeah, boy. I didn't want to talk about that voice, man. I didn't want to because that I was so mad for him. But if there's what they want to do, is what they want to do. But it didn't make sense.
No, but I mean, okay. So he did not have a back left tire. So his ability to go into the pits from the start of the lap straight through the lap without a back left tire, I wasn't entirely sure that he could have. I mean, drivers have done driving back to the pits with like punctured tires, missing tires.
But because there was a safety car there, they didn't give him the chance. But then I remember that wasn't the only reason to it because he hopped out the car too. I think that was the other reason why.
You can't hop back into the car. Once you hop out, you're out. You can't go back.
Remember, he's the president of the Driver Association. So the only reason he did was because he saw Joe there and he went to run straight to Joe. If it was a replay, he flew out the car and held straight to Joe there. But so it goes. Before we end off this show, I just want to do this really quickly. We didn't get a chance to do this. Antonio, kick us off now.
All right. So, this track has been Red Bull's territory for a while, but with the pace of the Ferrari cars, I could see a little mix-up in the free. Honestly, because the Max unhappy with what happened last race week, I feel like he's gonna come out in this race. So I feel Max pole first, Charles second, and Checo third.
Run that one more time, Max.
Max, Checo. Nah, Max, Leclerc, and Checo. Yeah.
Okay, Max, Leclerc, Checo. Ishmael, are you a purist? You don't like to do these things, or you're willing to? I know some purists don't like to predict. You have any predictions?
I'm willing to jump in the dance, and it would be really nice to see Checo on top there without Max there at all.
Right.
I
love that.
Just for the chaos, But knowing where this race is and what's been transpiring recently.
And his pedigree in history.
Max is I mean,
you
can't really go against Max there. So Max definitely on top, right? Whether the fight up, I think, between you have Charles, Sainz, Checo, Lewis, Russell, I think they're all definite shouts.
Right.
Just gonna have to go with Perez second and Checo Perez second and Charles third, just because
Okay.
they seem to be the most consistent drivers, the better drivers for the better teams with the better cars.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. All right. Um, I want to do my usual thing and say Max might even finish, but I'll give Max first. Because again, I vibe again, but you have good pedigree here, and it's not that much of a risky track. So I'll go Max first. Max, Lewis, and I see, you see, it's so hard to put Lewis there because Perez fast. It makes sense like you do a 1-2 as like what you did there. I'll go with Max, Perez, and Sainz too. That's me. Max,
No
Perez.
love, no love for Norris.
Nah, not with nah, when we was watching the race Sunday, man, and I saw Perez jump from 17th to 7th. I said, guys, Perez will not win this race. But then when the other incident occurred, I was like, all right, maybe not. If they had 3 more laps, he would have won the race. And the man came second. A certain person who was on the panel just never had to leave. But like, no, Lewis coming. You know what I'm talking about already. I was like, bro, chance. Lewis has no chance. That car is way too fast. If it had 3 more laps in that race, Perez was winning that whole race. And I just can't. The only thing that messing up Perez right now is team orders. The only thing messing up, well, Sainz messing up himself. But it's good to see that he finally aggressive, taking the initiative and going for it. He tries sometimes, but he makes a lot of silly errors. So now it's working out for him. So we'll see how it goes. I guess we could sign off there on that note. Any closing words? Ismail, thanks for coming through. Any closing words before we go? Anything at all before we sign off?
The turnaround for this season, where after race 3 or 4, we were shouting Red Bull reliability, Ferrari runaway. And now we're looking at it with Red Bull runaway, Ferrari reliability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this season has now started. We haven't reached the midway point yet. And there's so much coming for the second half of the season. Would love to see Mercedes jumping into the battle. Even if we get like a cheeky Lewis coming out winning the last 10, 15, I don't think we have 15 again, but last 10 races and giving them a run for their money for the World Driver Championship, that would be really interesting to see. But we just gonna go with let's get Checo this championship.
Antonio, parting words, anything at all? Any fantasy advice, anything at all before we push on?
This is definitely a track for the fast cars. Though I know a lot of us would go picking would have had our what do we call them? Our underdog picks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Differential drivers,
Yeah,
that's what we
differential
call them.
drivers. This race is pretty big good. Like only fast cars coming out of the show. I know Hamilton had a good race last race. Yes.
Correct.
Technically pulled them out because it was really and truly Red Bull and Ferrari were battling it out, and he got a nice little zigzag and made his little pass. But with bounce on this track and the way how Mercedes have been suffering over that bounce, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how they're going to manage with that. If they fix the problem permanently, that's good. They will have a good race. But pace-wise, I could see Red Bull and Ferrari dominating this race in particular. So if the fantasy-wise, Charles, Sainz, Max, if you have that Max money or better Perez, consistent driver, always bringing in the points no matter what, he always bringing in points. That's that one race recently where he didn't finish, but other than that, he has been bringing in points. So my word advice: stick to your gut, go to the Red Bull boys. If you know this is their track, stick to that. Don't go dabbling in some hope and pray madness and then upset when it happened and just say we didn't tell you so. McLaren is actually a good gamble if you want to gamble, if you want to dabble into that, because there's less corners and their car is pretty quick as well. So I can see a Mercedes McLaren fight up in that. But I can't see McLaren with the Ferrari and the Red Bull. Nor could I
Yes.
see Mercedes. Mercedes, good. I'm good with that. But as I said, once they fix the other problems, they'll neck and knocks, and when they fix that bounce problem, then yeah. Once, and I'm telling you from now, I am telling you from now, Hamilton, if Hamilton doesn't come anywhere in from fourth, Hamilton is going to see something wrong with the car, too much bounce, something thing is back written,
Yes, back in that.
some kind of baby behavior. And that is for Michael, and I'm signing out.
Guys, on that lovely note, don't forget, this weekend we get Island Bay Chill and Grill on Sunday. Don't forget, this Monday we're doing a great, we have FPL content coming up. We'll be with Javid and Ian Imamale on Monday, doing some pre-season tours. Every Wednesday, we have an FPL show discussing something new that pop up. So we'll probably be doing the promoted teams this Wednesday. Don't forget, every Thursday is F1 Fantasy. Guys, good luck this weekend. Don't forget, it's a sprint weekend, so as Antonio said, try and be mindful of the guys you're picking. Try and pick the guys that are quick, not just the ones that source what Magnussen knows. Not this weekend. This weekend is up for the guys that we know could.
And also, I forgot to mention, don't forget, guys, this is sprint weekend for the fantasy. Your points going on double up. Your points going on quadruple. Just do the right thing.
This is why a certain person had the foresight and the Yoda wisdom. But I'm not going there. So, guys, you all have a great weekend. I want to thank my guest, Ishmael. Always have time for us. Always coming through. I really appreciate that by Ishmael. So, I'll see you Sunday. Hopefully, I hope no tractor issues, right? But I will send you that clip, Ishmael. Antonio, big up all the time. Fantastic.
Yeah, man.
Later, guys.